I was going to compare the roots from these root maker 18 cell units versus the Northrop King ones that I bought. The difference is these cost about 10 bucks a piece, I believe, and these cost $4, maybe even more than 10 bucks. So you've seen the root structure here, so it's good. You can pull it right out. You got some good branching there. Let's see what these guys look like. It's a little harder to pull out, but still pretty good root structure. So I'm not really unhappy. I like them. The only thing is they're a little flimsy when you pick up the whole tray, but I don't know that there's a huge difference. Maybe if I kept them in for months and months, maybe I would notice a difference. But the main thing I like about the root makers is they're a sturdy tray that you can pick up the whole 18 and it's not flopping around and you don't feel like it's going to fall in half and drop your plants on the ground. That's my opinion. Thanks for watching. It is July 14th, 2016 here at Lake Erie Chestnuts. And we have some chestnuts coming out of our 6-foot tubes. These are in their third leaf. It's their second season on this property. I planted them as bare roots, bought from Empire Chestnut in Carrollton, Ohio. These first 3 rows are various versions of pure Chinese chestnuts, and then all of the rest are those bought from Chestnut Ridge of Pike County, which are Dunstan variety. I've had terrible problems, even with a 5-foot tube, of deer eating off the tops of this, which is why this one's growing crooked. It got eaten off last year. This one actually bloomed last year. It did not bloom this year. I had a few blooms on others that I'm not letting go to seed. So my solution is I'm not mowing this as pretty as I've kept it. I used to keep this very pretty. I mowed it once this year, and now I've made the decision that I'm not going to give the deer a perfect path down the trees. And I'm also not going to put a fence in yet. So my solution is I took some of those Tree Pro tubes that are 5 foot long and I cut them into 3 equal length sections, and I put them. This one has been eaten off. It was at the top, it was out, and you can see right here it was eaten, and now it's trying to grow more leaves, and I'm afraid I'm never going to get up to the 6-7 foot that those are, or at least it's going to take a long time before I can push them all out beyond the deer. And if I give them a clear path walking by them and they keep munching on them, I'm going to get tired of that. And I also don't want to fully fence this in yet, so I'm taking this, I'm putting it over the top, I put it over like a sleeve, and then I use the strap to put that there. And hopefully it'll hold. It seems like it's pretty secure. We'll see if it stands up to the weather and stands up to the deer. Another thing I could do was lift them up so they follow the tree up, and then that would expose the trunk. And I'm worried about doing that with rabbits and so forth. So that's what we're going to do for now. Thanks for watching us here at Lake Erie Chestnuts as we try to grow a chestnut orchard. We have 315 trees this year. It's 2016. Thanks for watching. So I put this extender tube up. I put this section here through 2 holes that I drilled with a drill, and I'll zip tie it on, and hopefully that'll hold it in place. I'll try to do that while I hold the camera. You won't see this part. It's just sound effects at this point. Now I have that on there. The wind does not seem like it'll tip that very much, and I get an extra over a foot, so it'll get me up to about 6 foot 4 inches or so. I'll put this up through here to give me a little something to tie onto that so it doesn't blow away. And then I'll cut that little extra section off, and we should be good. Push them up to 7 foot before the deer, maybe they'll stop browsing on them. Wish me luck. It's mid-August 2016 here at Lake Erie Chestnuts. We've got 1 out of every 3 to 1 out of every 4 trees that is pushed out of the top of the 5-foot tube. And as if you've been following along in the series, we've been putting these tube toppers to keep the deer from eating them. We also stopped mowing the roses pretty, which hurts my heart because it looked so pretty before. I thought I'd show you the progress here. We have had tremendous amounts of rain recently, which, while they don't want wet feet, if you have good drainage and hot weather, they love it. And you see these trees, they are really pushing out the growth now. This is the first year I've fertilized them twice in a year. You can see that this tree is every bit of 8 foot tall. It's looking gorgeous. Hopefully these guys will survive the winter and then be able to push even further next year, and I'll be able to start back mowing these if I can get them to stay up above deer browse weight. You can see the low-hanging clouds today are threatening even more rain. But you can see right here in a row, these are the Chinese chestnuts that were purchased from the Ohio place that I talked about, Empire Chestnut Company. And these are clearly very happy. Got that extender on there and growing out the top. Growing out the top. You can see going on down over the top of the hill. It's just a gorgeous morning here. You can see the extenders as far down as you can see on this row. These are just in their 3rd year. Let you soak it in for a minute. Well, I hope you're enjoying this video series I've been putting on. It's been fun watching these things grow, and maybe I've actually got them above the deer browse height. So I'm hopeful that this cheap solution that I put with these toppers is helping. This tree is just popping out of the top about this far, and if it had been here, I can guarantee you it would have been eaten off immediately. The deer love the tops. Check in with us at facebook.com/Lake Erie Chestnuts. Like that page, follow it. You'll get an instant alert when that updates a video, or you can subscribe to me at my name, John Sangle, and then subscribe to the Lake Erie Chestnut playlist that I have there. All right, thanks a lot. Have a great day. I'm John at Lake Erie Chestnuts. It's mid-August 2016. And today we have a special guest that's going to be walking you through what we're doing out here, which is putting on more of the tube extenders. So I hope you welcome him. It's my boy Jack. He's taking on a bigger role as he gets older here, and so welcome him. Remember to like us at facebook.com/Lake Erie Chestnuts, or like and subscribe on our videos, and that way you'll be updated anytime we place a new video. We appreciate you watching and hope you find this fun. Thank you.
I am Jack from Lake Erie Chestnuts. I am the vice president of Lake Erie Chestnuts. Today we are putting tree tubes on top of Dunstan chestnuts that my dad bought last year, and so the deer don't eat the tops off. And this is how you do it. And then you put that on and then zip tie. We have about 20 more to go today, so if you like our videos, like and subscribe, or go to Lake Erie Chestnuts on Facebook, and see you next time. Bye! These are the Dunstan chestnuts that my dad raised from seedlings in the spring of 2015, and you can see they're already as tall as me, and I'm for 11 and a half, and they're only 2 years old. So yeah, they're growing great, and we hope that they can produce chestnuts soon. Bye.
Well, it's September 16th, 2016, here at Lake Erie Chestnuts. We're going to show you the progress of our seedlings that we grew from the seeds that we purchased from Chestnut Ridge of Pike County this spring. And you'll see that we use these new Tree Pro tubes out of West Lafayette, Indiana. They have the releasable zip ties that I've shown you before, and I've already loosened these. So this is coming up to my hip. This is over 3.5 foot tall, and this is a seed that was started this year. You can see that this is a pretty representative tree. Within 1.5 foot of growing out of the 5-foot tube. Overall looks pretty healthy. It's put out some new growth in the past 1.5 months, and now we wanted to focus on putting some sugar back down in the roots as the fall comes and we get the cooler nights. The leaves will get lighter and lighter and eventually die off and go into dormant mode. But this is the spectacular growth they grow. Next year I expect this tree will be 7 foot tall or taller. I don't see any evidence of blight. These are very resistant to chestnut blight. You would see bright red around one of the stems if it was growing, and I don't see any here on the trunk. These leaves never look perfectly green because they're in the tube and putting all their energy to grow into the light at the top of the tube. Once they come to the leaves will become more green and deep green and glossy. As you can see, it's a gorgeous day. Goldenrod in full bloom. The honeybees are everywhere. Hope to have chestnuts harvesting around this time next year. Have a great day. Like us on Facebook at Lake Erie Chestnuts, and click subscribe on the YouTube channel where you're watching this to get updates as we show you the progress of our small chestnut orchard. Thanks for watching. Our 2016 chestnut seed cold stratification process has begun. We got our seeds from Chestnut Ridge of Pike County, and here we go. Just to show how big these are. I mean, these are almost as wide as 2 US quarters.
Oh.
They're very big, huh?
Yeah. And I'm doing these, actually. Get the dirt a little bit wet.
We're using sphagnum peat moss because it has some anti-mold properties. We're getting it a little bit wet, just a little bit of moisture. Nothing so that when you squeeze, you don't want any water to come out. No water, just a little bit crumbly, but just a little bit of moisture.
There's some of my dirt.
Now we're going to just take a little layer into our pan that we're going to put in the fridge. Just a little flat layer. This is something that just keeps the seeds just plenty moist so they don't lose moisture. We don't want to add a lot of moisture. And just basically pack it down. Now we take our chestnuts, and you can see they either have this rounded edge or they have a flat side, and you want to place them so the rounded side is up, and then that root will come out there. If they're like this one, which is kind of flat on both sides, it doesn't really matter, just pick one. You say okay? All right.
Yeah.
You do some. You want to put some in?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna put this one in.
All right. We didn't get our counter all clean today, did we? Perfect. Want to do another one?
Yeah.
Yeah, just put them in rows. Got a little wild, crazy hair going this morning, huh? And a big helper. Woo! A wild chestnut.
It jumped all the way over there.
It's a horribly rainy day, so we're just going to plant these up, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a horrible rainy day.
Yeah. After I get the first row done, I've put these a little farther apart than I've done in the past because it seems like if one gets moldy, if they're too close, that mold can spread to the second seed. So I'm only going to do 30 in this first row. You can see that we're not very deep into this container. We're going to put another layer of the peat moss. Just kind of put it across. And we'll pat it across and we'll do one more row on top of that. Okay. Go ahead and do that for me. And we'll put one more row, cover those up, package them up, put them in the fridge. Wait till the spring. Love having my big helper here. This is layer number 2. You can see that we're up a little higher. We've got the seeds. We're gonna put some dirt across them.
Yep.
Package them up and put them in the fridge.
Okay.
And Mama will be very happy to have them back in the fridge, taking up space, right? Mm-hmm. Not so much. With that, we'll put them in the fridge and can't wait till next spring when we can get them potted up and get them looking like this. Last year, 2016 spring, these are the chestnuts that we had growing last spring. Thanks for watching.